Black America is under attack, and the government that's supposed to protect us is standing by doing nothing, or worse, protecting the people trying to kill us. On February 7th, 2025, children were walking home from Lincoln Heights Elementary School. It was a normal Thursday afternoon in this small Black community outside Cincinnati, Ohio. Then, a U-Haul van pulled up on the bridge overlooking their neighborhood. A dozen men stepped out wearing all Black clothing, body armor, and red face masks. They carried AR-15 rifles. They waved swastika flags and screamed the N-word at families driving home from work. At a community that had been home to Black families for over a century. But here's the thing. This happened in 2025, not 1965. The police arrived, and they watched, chatting cordially with the white racists. They even helped one change clothes. They gave them water. Then they let them drive away without taking down a single name. Zero arrests, zero consequences, zero protection for the community under attack. The people of Lincoln Heights made a decision that day. They would protect themselves. But in 2025, why should they have to? Let's be real about what happened that day. These weren't just random hate mongers. This was the Hate Club 1488, founded by Anthony Atlick, a terrorist who literally spent 2 years in prison for tragically ending the life of a Black man. They chose Lincoln Heights because it represents everything they hate. A century of Black excellence, Black families building generational wealth, Black children walking home safe. And the law was there. The local police and sheriff were there. But as Lieutenant Michael Steers explained, they couldn't make arrests because there was no law being violated. Apparently, screaming racial slurs at children while armed with assault rifles is just exercising your First Amendment rights in Ohio. But here's what's really happening in Trump's America. The FBI reported over 11,000 hate crime incidents in 2023, the highest number since they started counting in 1992. That's 3 straight years of all-time highs. The day Trump returned to office in January 2025, he eliminated every federal program tracking domestic terrorism and hate crimes. He shut down violence prevention programs. Meanwhile, if you're Black and trying to protect your family, well, that's when the law suddenly has a problem with guns. If the government won't even write your name down after you scream racial slurs with a gun, who is the law really protecting? If you're Black and watching this, you already know this feeling. You've had the conversation about what to do if police stop you. You've wondered if today is the day someone decides you don't belong here. If you resonate with the message we're trying to share today, go ahead and subscribe to our channel to help spread our message. We need each and every one of you to help bring awareness to this sort of stuff. After the racists drove away, the community of Lincoln Heights gathered. They burned the abandoned swastika flags in the street, and they made a decision that would change everything. They weren't going to wait for the next attack. Within weeks, about 70 community members started carrying rifles and wearing tactical gear. Parents, uncles, teachers, workers, people who had spent their lives mentoring kids in the community now carried AR-15s to protect those same kids. They call themselves the Lincoln Heights Safety and Watch Program. Every morning before sunrise, they patrol the school bus stops. They monitor the roads leading into town. They stand guard during community meetings, all legally armed under Ohio's open carry laws. They're not a gang. They're not a militia. They're doing the job no one else will do. As spokesperson Darren Say Daniels put it, "I've never felt safer as a Black man in my community than I have right now. These are my friends. These are my cousins, my brothers, my sisters, my aunties." Resident Chantel Phillips agrees. "I feel like it's more secure now. I know my son can walk home and be okay." But listen to how the media describes them. Hamilton County Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey calls them a neighborhood militia and warns they could lead to tactics of these white racists. When white terrorists show up armed, they're exercising their rights. When Black people show up armed, they're a threat to public safety. The same legal system that protected the Klan now wants to ban the community members from wearing masks while carrying guns. Because apparently, protecting your identity from hate groups is more dangerous than being in a hate group. Here's what they don't teach you in school. Black Americans have been protecting themselves with guns since the first slave ship landed. So this sort of stuff isn't radical, it's tradition for us. After the Civil War, Black communities formed union leagues and militias to protect voters from the Klan. During the Red Summer of 1919, Black World War I veterans used their military training to defend their neighborhoods from white mobs in dozens of cities. In Washington, D.C., they positioned themselves as snipers on rooftops. In Chicago, they broke into armories to steal weapons. The violence only stopped when the federal government intervened. But it was the Black Panthers who took armed self-defense to another level. Founded in Oakland in 1966 by Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, they started as the Black Panther Party for self-defense. The Panthers studied California gun laws like constitutional scholars. They knew they could legally carry loaded weapons as long as they didn't point them at anyone. So they started cop watching, following police through Oakland with shotguns and law books, stopping police brutality in real time. On May 2, 1967, they walked into the California state legislature carrying loaded weapons to protest gun control laws targeting Black people. At their peak, the Panthers had over 2,000 members in 48 states, plus international chapters. They weren't just about guns. They fed 20,000 children breakfast every day, ran free health clinics, provided legal aid, and created liberation schools. They combined armed self-defense with community service in ways that terrified the government. Hoover called them the greatest threat to the internal security of the country. Not the Klan, not the literal fascists in their backyard, but the Black Panthers, a group feeding hungry children and stopping police brutality. The FBI's COINTELPRO program launched 233 operations against Black liberation groups, with the Panthers as the primary target. Surveillance, infiltration, assassination, they tried everything. In 1969, they eliminated 21-year-old Fred Hampton in his bed in Chicago. His crime? Organizing free breakfast programs and teaching Black children their rights. The Panthers proved that armed Black communities could protect themselves, feed themselves, and educate themselves. Every generation of Black Americans has had to ask this same question: will anyone protect us? And the answer has always been, only us. But let's talk about why this matters in 2025. It's not just about one white extremist attack. It's about a system that's been designed to fail Black communities from day one. Lincoln Heights was founded in 1923 as a place where Black families could build their own future. They fought for 7 years just to get incorporated because white communities kept blocking them. When they finally succeeded in 1946, they were given only 10% of their original land. The industrial tax base that should have supported them, given to white majority Evendale instead. Now they pay Hamilton County nearly $1 million a year for police protection. The same police who watched racists terrorize their children and did nothing. But here's the bigger picture. American policing started as slave patrols, the first ones formed in South Carolina in 1704. Their job was to catch runaway slaves, prevent revolts, and terrorize Black communities. After the Civil War, they became Jim Crow enforcers. Today, they're still doing the same job with better uniforms. The FBI's own 2015 report warns about white terrorist infiltration of law enforcement. At least 28 current or former police officers participated in January 6th. When Kyle Rittenhouse showed up armed to a protest, police gave him water and said, "We appreciate you guys." Then he killed 2 people and became a right-wing hero. But when Black people show up armed to protect their own children, that's when everyone starts talking about the dangers of guns. The media plays this game too. When white people are armed, they're concerned citizens and patriots. When Black people are armed, they're extremists and threats to public safety. This isn't paranoia. This is pattern recognition. So here we are in 2025. White terror groups are marching with government protection. Hate crimes are at record highs. The federal programs meant to track domestic terrorism have been eliminated. And a Black community that dared to protect itself is being called the real threat. They know that every time Black people organize to protect themselves, America suddenly discovered the dangers of guns. This isn't about fear. It's about the right to exist. It's about understanding that in America, Black lives have never been worth protecting by the system, so Black communities have always had to protect themselves. If you understand why this is necessary, share this video. Because the story of Lincoln Heights is the story of Black America. They won't protect us, but we can protect each other. And we will.